Hello, everybody, all my wonderful students and followers and disciples. This is your Master GongSun. Today's episode, I'll be starting a new series. It's about the Tao and how it applies to notable individuals in the news and history, celebrities, the arts, everyone and everywhere throughout the known universe. And I want to point out today I am actually doing this podcast with the sunset behind me. See, in Taoism, we like the sunset. Well, I do anyway, because it is when yang becomes yin and then yin becomes yang again, right? During sunrise. And also, I'll talk about this later, but there are many incantations in Taoism. The most important of which is, does anyone know this? The Sutra of the Golden Light. It is not a hymn of prayer, but it is an energetic exercise that allows us to draw on our own energies to protect us and give us fortune and luck. It's called Nei Gong, which means the inner energy. Anyway, I'll teach you all about this in another episode, including the hand seals, the mudras. All right, today's episode, we talk about two people, Elizabeth Holmes of Theranos and Sam Bankman-Fried of FX. At least I think that's the name of his company. So what do they have in common? Well, number one, they both lied to and defrauded investors, scamming them to the tune of what? At least scamming them out of at least, what, hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, I don't believe for a minute that these two didn't know about the scams and that it was all their subordinates' fault. I mean, if there's the CEO, then the buck stops with them. They have to take responsibility for the actions of their underlings, even if they didn't know, which I seriously doubt. I'm sure they knew. So, what did they do wrong? Well, number one, they never apologized. Number two, the Tao preaches moderation. I mean, they just got greedy. I mean, for every $1 million, you should just tax on, right? You can just tack on another million. I mean, when does it stop? When does the greed stop? And the answer is that it does not. So we have to learn to be satisfied with having everything that we need. Now, as to, there's a saying, there is enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. So that's a problem. They got too greedy. They did some unscrupulous things to get ahead, to try to become rich and powerful. They reached for the sun and then got burned. And the thing is, it's not just these two that defrauded investors. Plenty of people defraud investors, but they get away with it. So why were these two caught? Number one, I believe it's because they offended the wrong people. They offended people really high up there in authority. And at the same time, they also defrauded too many people for people to just forget about it. Right? And if you think about it, I mean, does the end justify the means? According to Taoism, no, it never does. What you're willing to do to get ahead, that is actually a test. And these two failed miserably, Holmes and Bankman-Fried. They compromised their own values, that is to say, if they even had values to begin with. But to be more specific, Elizabeth Holmes, she had a company called Theranos, which was supposed to be able to diagnose whatever disease you have with just one drop of blood. And while Sam Bankman-Fried, well, he was just some cryptocurrency guy who got too greedy. In any case, lots of missteps there, lots of faux pas, lots of greed, and very much not moderate, immoderate. So This is what you get when you violate the Tao. You get burned. You go to prison. And no, the end never justifies the means. Never. Because how we do something is just as important as the end result. So think about that, everybody. All right, this is your Master GongSun. I want to make short, digestible chunks, so I don't want to go on a rant and keep talking, dragging on and on. Anyway, keep following the Tao until next time.